everyone. Another week and another episode of Singularity Speaks. Rick here, back again with my good friends, Lee, Paul. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well.
Hey, doing well.
So real quick, you can go to our website at singularityspeaks.com and sign up for our free newsletter. It'll keep you informed on upcoming episodes, links to stories we talk about here on the podcast, and just other stuff that we feel like sharing with everyone. It's free, and it's a great way to keep in touch with all things that are happening with this podcast. So again, singularityspeaks.com. With that out of the way, a long time ago, in a childhood that doesn't really seem that far away, the galaxy was forever changed when a young princess, trying to avoid capture from the enemies that had boarded her ship, recorded an important and hopeful message into a small, friendly robot, pleading for help from a man named Obi-Wan. And just like that, the lives of millions of people everywhere, science fiction in general, and the entire entertainment industry charted a course for parts unknown and never looked back.
Well said, Rick.
Almost overnight, Star Wars became a cultural phenomenon with stories that now span every form of entertainment imaginable. Comic books, novels, video games, musical soundtracks, live action and animated TV series. Despite its naysayers over the years, fans still clamor for more stories and more adventures from whatever creators will give them. With the release of the new film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, we thought it'd be a great time to talk about the past, the present, and maybe even try to look into the future of what one of our favorite universes has in store. So from George Lucas to Kathleen Kennedy and now Dave Filoni, I think everything is up for discussion. And while we may not agree on everything, I think we all have opinions on all of it. So guys, when was the last time you tried to use Jedi mind trick on somebody? Right. I mean, how many times as a kid did you try to use Jedi mind trick on somebody? It was so cool.
Yeah. Still, when I'm on the freeway, I'm using Jedi mind trick. It doesn't work. But
yeah, it's never worked, right? It never works, but you can hope. Yeah.
Anytime my yearly review comes up at work, I'm trying to use Jedi mind tricks.
Exactly.
This isn't the review you're thinking of. Yeah.
So when in your early life did Star Wars hit? Like for me, it was when it came out. I was still really young, but my parents went to the theater and we watched it at the theater, and and my mom and my brother, my sister. The Star Wars was a huge part of my family. How was it for you guys?
I saw Star Wars when I was 4 years old in the theater. And I don't remember it exactly, but my mom said I was completely riveted, like on the edge of my seat, leaning forward. And it really is like when you're describing the movie, in the first 2 minutes, you're totally captivated. But yeah, so I guess I could call myself a fan even then. Right. At that age. So and there's still a special place in my heart for the 77 theatrical release of it, which I will always think is the best Star Wars and my favorite movie of all time too.
I don't know that it's my favorite. I have a affinity towards Empire Strikes Back, but there is something about the original trilogy that's just amazing, and what they were able to accomplish. George Lucas had a hard time trying to convince anybody to take a chance on the film because it was a space opera. They're like, are you kidding me? Like, who's going to go watch that? And even the guy who ended up greenlighting the project I don't think he even understood what the heck it was.
I think Alan, I can't remember his last name. But
Alan Ladd.
Alan Ladd, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
but he said he didn't really understand it even. Like it was completely George Lucas's vision, and it was nothing like that had been done before. But he said he put all his trust in Lucas. Like he knew Lucas had talent, so he was relying on that rather than his understanding of the vision. When was the first time you saw it, Lee? And then tell us your first thoughts about like your earliest thoughts of Star Wars and like that kind of thing? We've all been fans a long time.
So I was born like 2 years after the first one came out. I was born in '79, and so like I didn't really get like an experience with it until Empire. I remember, being at the theater, but I was like very, very young when that one came out. So my first like real established memory was probably Jedi.
Right.
And I remember seeing it at the drive-in theater. And so, yeah, so that one was like my first like real like concrete memory. I loved it though. I remember we had like a VHS tape recording of Empire and of that was taped off of Cinemax of Empire and Jedi. And so I'd rewatch those. Yeah, it was the best trilogy ever. It was Breakin', the 1980s movie with Turbo and Ozone, and then after that, it was Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So it was my greatest trilogy ever on VHS. And I watched it over and over.
Did you guys have or collect any of the Star Wars like toys and stuff that they had? Like, I mean, I know we did as kids. Like, my parents were always trying to, see what they could afford to get us as far as new Star Wars stuff was concerned.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, are you kidding? Like every time we go into the store, I'd go beeline straight to there, look at the new figures they got, beg my parents.
Right.
I was pissed off when my brother got old enough where they were like, "Okay, we're going to get one for your little brother too." And I was like, I collect these, not you, I was like, I didn't want him to have any characters I didn't have.
What did you have, Lee? Like, what was your Star Wars toy that, you cherished?
So I had a Darth Vader figure. I can't remember if it was purchased for me or if it was a hand-me-down from my cousin, but I remember he was missing his goofy looking jacket that was like the plastic, fold-on jacket with the collar.
With the like 70s collar on it, like the...
Yeah.
So that was missing. And then his terrible lightsaber that came out of his hand.
You slid that little thing, and
that was like slid up into his arm like a magic
out of
trick.
His hand, and that thing was like chewed off at the end. That was probably me, and and I hated that. I was like, why can't they just make one that goes in his hand? Which I think they did later with Luke from the Jedi series when he came with the robe.
Was that the like Power series or something?
Little lightsaber that didn't sit right in his hand. But my first like real experience with the figures and stuff was definitely the Power of the Force series that came out in '95 when they reintroduced the movies on VHS.
Yeah. And isn't that when he did the like the special editions? And
I think that was in '97.
That was right around the times that he was gonna re-release the special edition. So he released the special editions, which was the THX remasters. That was kind of when those figures like first came out, and that was the original. That was before they were re-edited with the new footage, and so they just had the THX remaster. He did those in Laserdisc and in VHS, and then afterwards, that was when they re-released them in the theater with the new footage, and then they came out with them again on VHS. But yeah, I remember every Star Wars home video release was such a huge deal because it took so long for them to remaster them and put them back out. And when they came out on THX, it was like a huge deal because they released the VHS trilogy before that had the really good box art that had the sketch, like the illustrations from each movie from the original movie posters and stuff. And then they released them with the THX remasters that had the horrible covers where it just had the close-up of like Vader's face for the Star Wars.
I remember those.
And the Stormtrooper
those.
face for Empire, and then Yoda's face for Jedi.
Those were awful. Yeah.
But the THX remasters were great. The original remasters were excellent.
What do you know about the Laserdisc versions? Like, what weren't they like?
That's the best cut.
The best cut, right? I think my older brother rented them once because he had like a Laserdisc player. I think you came over, Lee, and we watched it.
That's the
And they were
closest
in
quality
letterbox. They
you
were in
could
like
get.
true letterbox. Like it seemed like.
That's the closest quality you could get to the film quality. In your home, right? Was the Laserdisc.
Yeah. They looked amazing. I mean, they really did, especially at the time. This is before DVD, right? So yeah. And even I heard even after like the DVD releases that the Laserdisc version was still the better version to get. And yeah.
And you can find bootleg versions of it on DVD. Like if you went to, I don't know if you remember when we went to the Fangora convention a long time ago, and then they had that like TV set up and they were showing that guy's like edited versions of the trilogy. Like he brought the Laserdisc version to DVD and put him selling them there for like $100 a trilogy or something.
I do remember that. Yeah. That's
it's funny. The demand was so high, but Lucas was like, no, he's not going to do it, right? Like the demand for that was fans are willing to just begging for that.
Yeah, and then I still have my original trilogy on DVD, but it was, I remember I let everybody in our circle of friends borrow this at least once, but it was my metal Best Buy case that had the trilogy in it, and it had the remastered DVD copies, but then one of the discs came with the Lego Star Wars demo on it, but the other thing it had on it was the original theatrical release, but it was the one that was literally like, you can see the Vaseline smear under the land speeder to like hide the weed, like, before they edit all that out. Like it was not THX remastered. Like it is like the bare bones, like, but I have them. Like, it's like, you can't find those anywhere. I think Disney burned all the copies.
Thinking of the toys, 20th Century Fox wanted nothing to do with the toys because they're like toys, movie tie-ins and toys they don't sell. We don't care. Whatever, do whatever you're going to want. And that's what built Lucasfilm, right? Like George Lucas funded Empire Strikes Back out of his earnings from A New Hope and some loans. And that's, he took a chance on himself, but he believed in the franchise and he believed in what he was trying to do. But the toys, oh my gosh, the toys made them an empire.
Made more money than the movies.
No pun intended, I guess.
But he, in his contract, from what I understand, had said, I'll take less of a cut on the profits of the movie. I want rights to the toys. And they were more than happy to do that. They're like, oh, that's a foolish move because that's never in the past. But they didn't realize things were changing. The toys were huge. That had never happened before. And so that was a brilliant move that he did. But I think he didn't do it so much as a smart businessman, maybe partially, but more because he cared about his vision. And another example of that is like something that I think is, can you imagine if there were credits in the beginning of 1977 Star Wars? Like there's the famous roll where it like scrolls by and tells you what's happening, but you don't see Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. Like that would just totally take you out of it. And he, but there were all these rules to be in SAG or whatever it was, that you were going to get fined massively if you didn't do that. Like there were all these rules in place that you had to do that. But he said, you know what? I don't care. Like find me whatever you want to do. I'm going to put no credits at the beginning because that was his vision, right? So he took the hit on that. But I think it showed that he cared like about making a movie he wanted rather than just going for the profits. But that ended up being the most profitable thing, ironically, because his vision was so good.
I don't know that he knew how he was going to pull it off when he, got the green light and said, okay, go ahead, let's do it. He had to figure it out because there weren't the special effects studios to do it. So he had to build it himself. He had to put it together himself with, just a small crew that, they slowly built up.
You're right.
But some of the
Ralph
things
McQuarrie,
that they did. Yeah,
Ralph McQuarrie was the guy that did all of he was a genius, I think. Like I always remembered his name because he did the look of the stormtroopers, the look of Darth Vader, like everything that you think of as Star Wars, the iconic, like he designed all that stuff and Lucas saw his talent. But what's interesting is he would say, Ralph McQuarrie, I guess from what I understand, would say, like, what can I do here? And Lucas would say, don't hold back, like just do any vision that you can. I'll figure out how to do it with special effects. And so like he didn't like when you're saying he didn't know how he was going to do it, he was just thinking he didn't want anything to get in the way of the vision, but then he was going to try to figure out how to make it work with the budget constraints, which I think is really, which was part of his genius. I think it's sad that later on he went back and said, oh, here's what my actual vision is. Let's add all this stuff in, because really part of his brilliance was making it work at the time with what he had. Like, we don't want to lose that, what he was able to do, when you just say, oh, you know, just erase that completely, and this is my vision. You lose the genius of how he was able to fit it in with the 1977 technology.
Yeah.
And there's a movie that I like called Logan's Run, which came out in 1976. I looked up the year. I think it was 76. But the storyline of that is really good. But when you watch the movie, I'm like, oh my God, the special effects are so bad. Like the dialogue and everything and the pacing, it seems so dated. And I was like, this was just 1 year before Star Wars. Like, it was, no one had ever seen anything like it.
If you watch, because I know on Disney Plus they have some of these up of like the history of Industrial Light and Magic and how they got their start, you know, and how they transformed through the years and all that. It's fascinating to see how they started. I mean, they had to build camera systems in order to pull off what they wanted to do. Like, they had to make it from scratch because the tech wasn't there. It just didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, absolutely crazy what they were able to do in the amount of time that they had and with the budget that they had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like George Lucas would be off filming and come back, you know, and he'd give them it wasn't like he just left them to do whatever. Like, he'd given them direction and was trying to manage explaining his vision and what he wanted, and they just had to figure out how to make it happen, right? So they'd spend days, you know, weeks putting together these rigs and different things, and he'd come back and his mind was blown, like what they were able to do. And,
mm-hmm.
you know, and then he wanted more. He's like, okay, well, we're going to do this. We should do this. It's just crazy. It's a really interesting series. And Industrial Light and Magic really, I think, revolutionized special effects for movies going forward from there, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just like you said, what was available before, what was being done before, completely changed after Star Wars came out.
Yeah. And I heard when it was being filmed, like, a lot of the stuff they did in post was incredible, right? Like, that made the movie. Like, if you saw it pre-post, and then after, it made a huge difference. And from what I understand, like, the crew and stuff, so when you got a movie, you have people working, not just the actors and the director, but you've got people like setting up the sets and everything. Well, the talk on Star Wars was, what the hell is this? Like, we've got this tall, hairy creature running around this silver thing. Like, what is this movie? Like, nobody really knew what, you know, when they're like, what is going on? Is this is going to be the biggest flop? And then Lucas showed it to his friends, one of which was Steven Spielberg and his other director friends. And it was a rough cut version of it. So it was like, he had some of the space scenes, but like the special effects were missing, the explosions and stuff. And they all were like, sorry, George, this is going to be like a flop, except for, I think it was Steven Spielberg, who was like, this is going to be the biggest movie of all time. Like, he could recognize the vision, right? But it was so hard it's easy now to look back and be like, oh yeah, it was going to be huge. But at that time, and even Lucas was like, he had so many people telling him this is going to be a bit major flop. You know, he's doing the movie he wants to do. That he flew off to Hawaii to take a vacation so that he wasn't around when it flopped, you know, like that's how. And then he was like, so he's in vacation in Hawaii with his buddy. I think Spielberg went with him because he was like, I need a break, you know, I need a break. Plus, I don't want to be around when the flop happens. But he's like, this is a movie I want to make. So then they're in Hawaii and they find out that the lines are like huge. And that's when they thought, okay, we're going to be able to do whatever we want. And they started talking about their idea for Indiana Jones. When they knew that it was going to be a hit, they're like, okay, we can keep going, you know, like what you said, that nobody anticipated how different things were going to be.
You know, you touched on something there that I think Lucas had a hard time recreating in the prequels. So, like, you know, a character like Chewbacca, like you said, this big, hairy man-looking thing walking around, crazy at the time. But he became such a beloved character. And then you go to the prequels, and you've got Jar Jar, and a much hated character.
As loved as Chewbacca is,
yeah. Jar Jar is the exact opposite for most people, anyway. Right?
It's really sad for the actor that played Jar Jar. I was talking with Lee before the podcast about how he was like on a bridge getting ready to jump. Like he got so much hate, he was literally like suicidal.
Yeah, it's awful.
But it'll be like, Anakin. Like, I couldn't stand Jake Lloyd or Hayden Christensen. And then, look at it years later, like Hayden Christensen is in every Disney prequel series. I mean, who knows? Next year, 2027 will be the year of Jar Jar. We're going to get Disney Plus Jar Jar Binks.
It can happen, right? There's there's a theory online that I think is so funny. That's like really well actually thought out. That Jar Jar was actually like a Sith Lord that was pulling all these strings and acting stupid. But he's actually, it makes
so much sense.
He's actually pulling all the strings of the Emperor and everything, and that he's a dark Sith Lord.
I do like the fact that like we have so much Star Wars nowadays. There's like good Star Wars and bad Star Wars, that it makes you like look at the prequels fondly now.
Well, I think part of what saved the prequels, because when they came out, there was a lot of, especially the Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace was kind of it was all over the place. There was some bad writing, and it felt a little disjointed. And
was the Death Sticks joke in the first one, the second one, or the third one? I can't remember.
I can't remember that, but I'm afraid to try to remember it.
Gave the anti-smoking message, like it was in one of them in like the bar. There was the baby Greedo, like you're gonna get in trouble one day, Greedo.
No, I think
there was so many.
Did it all go downhill when George Lucas actually had kids or something?
I think what saved the prequels was the Clone Wars animated series. If you guys haven't seen that, you should. And if you have, you understand what I'm talking about, because it really fleshed out Anakin's character and made you understand his fall to the dark side a lot better than the movies did. It gives him a new Padawan, gives him a Padawan. So now he is in charge of training, a young Jedi, Ahsoka Tano. And then it gives Maul a heck of a lot more backstory. Now it also brings him back from the dead, who knows how, whatever. But
it's Star Wars. They can all come back.
Right? Everybody can come back.
They can force project themselves to fight lightsaber battles. They can do it all now.
Right.
That was Dave Filoni, right, Rick?
Yeah. Clone Wars was, Dave Filoni. George Lucas had his hands all over it, though, right? I mean, he created a lot of the characters that are a part of it, and he had a big say in all of it. So, but it was Dave Filoni's project, yeah, for sure.
So moving on to The Mandalorian, that is something that I think one of the things I liked about it was that you can tell that it's made by fans, like Filoni and Favreau.
Yes.
They're truly fans. Like there's a lot of like fan service in it, which is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I don't know. But I liked it. I like that aspect for sure.
It is a very good series. I liked it a lot. I know my mom, really liked it. She also liked, Baby Grogu. So, and they knew they were sitting on a gold mine with that character. Come on.
Yeah.
I heard Favreau had to fight not to get them. They wanted to market. They knew they were sitting on a gold mine, like you said, and they wanted to market Baby Yoda so bad. Like they were like, and they said, we have to get everything into pre-production to get the Baby Yoda sales going. And Favreau fought really hard saying, no, you're going to ruin the surprise. Like, don't. So I remember searching for like, there's nothing you can buy of Grogu, Baby Yoda. There's, and that was the reason why was like Favreau pushed back against the marketing.
And it worked. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
But the show had to stand up on its own, and it does, and it did, and it does. So what did you guys think of the movie? Like, what did you guys think?
I liked it. For me, here's the number one thing when I'm going to a movie, a Star Wars movie. I ask, does this feel like Star Wars? There's some things I've watched where I was like, this doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. This feels like it's got Star Wars slapped on it, but is this really Star Wars? And like for me, The Mandalorian and Grogu, it felt like Star Wars. And being a huge Star Wars fan, then I'm gonna like it. And so yeah, I liked it. Is it my favorite Star Wars movie? No. But and then I've heard criticisms. It's just like a long, higher budget episode of The Mandalorian, right? The Mandalorian TV show, which I think is a fair criticism, right? But for me, that's fine. I was like, that's okay. You know, maybe I don't mind that going and seeing like a long, but I could get where like super fans don't feel that way. But for me personally, I liked it. It had a lot of action. I'd want to watch it again, and it felt like Star Wars. So that was my opinion. What do you guys think? But I guess, and the other criticism I keep hearing about is like nothing changed, right? Like in Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader dies. I mean, I hope I'm not spoiling anything for like the really young listeners, right? Sorry,
it's been out long enough, man. I think,
yeah, I think you should know. But there was nothing like that. They just go on an adventure. There's nothing like, oh my gosh, like this happened with a permanent change.
Yeah.
So it did kind of feel like an extended episode, but to me, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. And yeah, I'm really curious to hear. I don't know your guys' opinion yet, and I'm really curious and excited to hear
the whole idea of the movie started because of the writer's strike. What was it, back in 2022? I think it was.
Really?
Yeah. So they had written season 4, and they were ready to go, but there was the writer's strike, and things were up in the air, and they didn't know what they were going to be allowed to do or not do. So they were like, you know what? Why don't you take season 4 and condense it down into, an hour and a half, 2-hour movie, and we'll just give you a bigger budget and you can do what you want and go about it that way. Filoni and Favreau were like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Let's do it. So that's why it feels like a longer episode of the show, is because that's really what it is, in essence. Mm-hmm. It's just a longer episode. And I don't know that it was supposed to wrap up their story. I don't know. I think it's just another adventure that those two got themselves into. And I thought it was fun. I liked it. I wasn't expecting it to change my life. I don't know what people were expecting as far as some of the criticisms I hear. Although most of the criticisms have been from like actual critics and not necessarily fans. I think fan reactions have been pretty decent. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Lee? Let's hear it. What do you got?
Oh man, I got a list.
All right.
So this is my thing. Is like I liked the movie. I really liked the movie. I liked it for the first like hour and 20 minutes when the first storyline finished. Sure. And then they started the second storyline. So that was when like I could feel the episode beats like in the movie. Like I could feel when the episodes were supposed to and then like the credits roll and then
on board with that. Totally felt the same thing. Yes.
So,
yeah, well said.
But I didn't mind it until I got to the second storyline, and I'm like, oh, okay, so these are like these filler episodes that these are the Kara whatever, helping the people fight out the swamp.
Are you trying to say you didn't enjoy the half hour of Grogu taking care of Mando while he was passed out? Like,
I actually did enjoy that because I felt like that was the most character growth that anybody went through in the whole movie.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So, come on.
He built him the hut,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like so much about that. Like, it's just how I feel about Star Wars now. There's so much that I love about it and so much that I like don't like about it. I feel like anytime they go with a new direction in Star Wars, it gets like so shit on that they fall back into like the Dave Filoni fan service, like so much. Like, so one of my favorite shows for Star Wars, and I may get shit on for this, but like I thought it was different, and it actually like it had some fan service in it, but it had it in the right ways, and like it was something new that felt new and exciting, but existing in like a universe that you felt familiar with, and that was Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, I agree.
So like, but then like I really liked this movie. I just thought there was some directions that like I really wanted to see Bo-Katan in this. I really wanted to see some overarching things. The Zeb from Rebels like really irked me because I couldn't figure out what the fuck he was doing in this movie.
They could have explored
he had
that
like no
more.
purpose in the movie whatsoever.
Have you seen Rebels, Paul? Have you watched Star Wars Rebels?
No.
Oh, you should, dude. Yeah, you're missing out on some really good Star Wars.
I got to see these things like Skeleton Crew. I'm always kind of apprehensive because I'm like, is this going to ruin Star Wars for me? Like, I still haven't seen Rise of Skywalker or certain other things because I avoid it until I know, okay, I want to be sure that it's good, that it like, and so I've avoided things that I think are good because of that. Well, but now hearing from you guys, I know that I can check these things out. So
you haven't even finished watching the sequel trilogies then, right? So you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker?
Mm-mm.
Or The Last Jedi?
No.
Oh my God, Paul, what is wrong with you?
I haven't, yeah.
I'm saying if you can get through the prequels, like you can get through anything in Star Wars.
Dude, yeah.
Seriously. Okay. Like if you suffered through those things, like you can get through.
All right. It's been a long time, but I wait to hear from like people I trust that I know are true fans to like tell me this is good.
What did you think of The Force Awakens? What was your opinion on that?
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I get the criticism of that one too. The big criticism of it's just A New Hope all over again with the whole same story beats and like Rey is Luke and there's a Death Star and but I mean, I remember being excited about it and liked it. I definitely liked it more than like the prequels and stuff.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I look at it like you have to look at it from like a business standpoint too. Like everybody was complaining that like the Mandalorian and Grogu was like, I was one of these people complaining. I'm like, oh God, this is like, you know, that meme, like this could have been an email. Like this is like, this could have been 4 episodes of a television series. But I get from like Disney's standpoint where like this was made for 2 purposes. It was made to get people like new fans onto the Mandalorian and Grogu. So they were literally like reintroducing them to an audience. So like if you went into it and like you were familiar with the show, you could kind of just like jump right on. You're like, all right, this is another adventure with Mandalorian and Grogu. But if you're like new to the series or whatever, it kind of just like introduces you. It kind of dips your toes into the universe. So you could like go from the movie back to Disney Plus and like start on the show and like, you know, the first episode's spoiled for you, but you
that's a really good point. Like if they're thinking of, so if they're not looking at it just in the success of the movie itself, but in the success of like how many Disney Plus subscriptions did they get, how many more people get on board with that, that's part of the success of it too, which is different than other Star Wars movies. So because from what I heard, it was a bit of a disappointment as far as like the opening wasn't that much bigger, if at all, than like Solo, which they weren't, which wasn't a huge opening either.
And then it's already gotten kicked down. The I think Obsession like destroyed it at the box office, and then Backrooms was another one that just is like
I heard it had I read that it had a 69% drop in its 3rd week. Or its 2nd week,
it's definitely like I think it cost 160 million to make or 165 million to make, and that's kind of like what it's made back like worldwide. I don't know what it's made back now, but they were hoping that it makes $500 million. That was like the projected like number. I think they were
that was the like we'll be happy with hope, right? But I think I can see why that happened. Because I remember on the poster, really prominent on the poster, it says only in theaters, right? And so like people that are seeing it, the people that are going to be the most interested in it are like Disney Plus subscribers who've watched the show. And what portion of them are like, you know what, I can wait until, because this is going to be on Disney Plus in a short amount of time. Like, I wonder if that's where the drop off came from. Like, the big fans go and see it on opening day and spend all the money because it's expensive now to go to the theater. But then anybody that's like a little less of a fan, but still a fan, they're going to be waiting till it comes on Disney Plus. Do you think that might explain the drop off? Or
and I think just the format that they had of it being a season condensed into a movie, and there really not being this big epic moment with Grogu trying to take care of Mando for a while. That was supposed to be kind of one of the big moments for the movie, but I don't think it had the impact that maybe they were hoping for, right? So I don't think there is that drive to like, I have to go see that again, right? Like I have to go see it again right now because it was so insane, it was crazy. There isn't anything of that in this movie, and that's probably why the drop off is there, is because it's like an elongated, season or a shortened season, and you can just catch it when it does come out on streaming. And we've talked about in other podcast episodes about the shortened time of release window for movies and how that's affecting people going in to watch movies at theaters.
I think another big problem too is that Disney shot themselves in the foot with Disney Plus. Like it's a great service for us because it's like, you can get it free with Verizon and like you don't pay anything for it. Yeah. And it's like, they probably get a little bit of revenue from that, but like Disney they shot themselves in the foot with this streaming service because their movies are never going to make what they did before because people know that they can wait 2 months and it'll be on Disney Plus. Like why waste the money going to the theater to go see it when like, it's going to be on Disney Plus? That's why Fantastic Four didn't do as well as it did. And I thought it was a good movie. It was only like an hour and a half.
Back to your point. This goes back to your point, Lee, which I think is valid. Like maybe the execs are looking more, not just looking at like, okay, what did that movie make in theaters, but like the effect that it has on Disney Plus as far as new subscriptions and things like that. Like if you look at it in a whole like that, instead of looking at it as just the film itself, maybe it's more of a success in that way. Because I know like, but honestly for us, right, we're looking at it and like, did we enjoy the movie? Yeah. But we know that the execs are looking at it and like the profit.
Yeah. Well, I heard that there was pressure to make the movie because they really wanted to make money on this franchise. And like a movie was their vision. And like they, and I thought they put out a good movie. But, you can, I don't know, create a river, but you can't bring a bunch of horses to drink out of it. Like,
Well, I think Disney's had more recent misses than they've had hits. Not as many successes.
Yeah,
and the sequel trilogy, lots of controversy.
You gave a girl a lightsaber. You can't do that in today's day and age.
No, so I think my thing that is my frustration with the sequel trilogy is it doesn't feel like a cohesive story. When George wrote the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, like he had a story and a kind of an overarching storyline, not necessarily fleshed out, but just the basic premise of the story that he was trying to tell. And it worked, right? Now, whether you enjoyed the prequels or not, the writing was a little rough there, but the story itself was pretty solid. But man, in the sequels, it's kind of a freaking mess. Like at that whole last scene of Rey and Ben. I'm trying not to give it away here, Paul, because you haven't seen it yet. But what the heck is that? You know what I'm talking about, Lee, right? It's dumb. It didn't make any sense.
So I was talking to Paul about this on the phone earlier, and like I have such a weird relationship with like the new trilogy because like I have such a strong dislike for the prequel trilogy. Like I could probably, if I edited together all 6 hours of the prequel trilogy, I could probably make a 45-minute movie I really enjoy. But that's like how much I just don't like those. They don't feel like Star Wars. Like one thing that like I really did like about J.J. Abrams is how much he paid attention to the things about the first movie. Like, I don't care if George Lucas wanted to make lightsabers as weightless as sticks in the second movie. It looks dumb. It doesn't look like it just lightsabers are heavier than that. You're holding like a big hilt with a crystal in it. It's heavy. And that's one of the things I liked in the man, it's like I can see what they were trying to do with the prequel trilogy, because it's like in the original trilogy, George Lucas just wanted to direct the first one. Like, he wrote all three of them, and he co-wrote, I believe, the screenplay with somebody else for Empire and for Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah,
Lawrence Kasdan wrote. He co-wrote Empire, and then he also did Solo, Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
He did that one as well.
I felt like The Mandalorian felt the closest to Solo, the Star Wars story. Like, if people were asking me, like, what does it feel like? Is it like Rogue One, or is it like, the new trilogy? I'd be like, no, it's like Solo. It definitely feels like an adventure movie, like Solo. Solo was kind of a heist movie, but this movie was more like, bouncing around from scene to scene like Solo was.
Right.
Did you guys know that George Lucas was hospitalized during the making of Star Wars? From what I understand, like he experienced major burnout trying to get his vision. He experienced exhaustion, but like so bad that he was hospitalized, and he hated it. Wow. That's I think one of the big reasons why he didn't direct Empire or Jedi was because he was so like burned out from that battle that he felt like he was fighting all the time.
With directing. Smart, because you saw what happened. We gave him complete creative control. We got the prequel trilogy. But the one thing you can say, though, and this is where I'll go back to the new trilogy, is that at least like you can respect the fact that he had a vision and he saw it through, and like love it or hate it, that was his total vision that you saw in those prequel trilogies from beginning to end. That's what he wanted you to see. I felt like with the new one, it was like J.J. Abrams had a vision with the first movie and he put it out. And since they did not write the overall storyline for all three of these movies, J.J. Abrams didn't do it. I think that he wanted to just do the first one and set it up and then let, each director come along. And then it was supposed to be J.J. Abrams for the first one. Then it was Rian Johnson for the second one. And then it was supposed to be Colin, was it Trevorrow? For the third one.
Third one. And then,
And I read his like synopsis that he wanted to do, which sounded kind of interesting.
But do you think but overall, was that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, did it end up messing with the vision that because I remember people saying J.J. Abrams wouldn't have done this. Like, he was kind of setting something up, but then they weren't interested in that. So they go off in another direction. Like, the downsides of having multiple visions.
Well, I think that's what happens when you have multiple writers who don't have a cohesive storyline to work with. They're just free to do whatever. And I think that goes back to Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but because it's her responsibility to say yay or nay to these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder, it just felt, maybe it sounds like, I haven't seen it, but does it kind of sounds like they weren't ever in the same room going like, okay, what are we going to do with this broad vision? Like, you get if you're going to have multiple writers on one big arcing vision, you should get them in the same room talking to each other. It seems like they didn't talk to each other much. It's like, okay.
Not at all. You need to watch it, Paul. Like, for the biggest Star Wars fan as you are, that you haven't watched them, it just blows my mind. You need to watch them.
So I think that like another thing too is like with Star Wars, it's tough movies to make because it's hard to take on new directors because new directors want to not just do their vision, but they want to take the series in a new direction. And Star Wars is so like rooted in nostalgia and fan service that it's really hard to do that with upsetting the core fan base. So like a lot of the time, like I thought that Rian Johnson like had like, you know, he was trying to take the series in a new direction. Like he was trying to take it in a new direction. He was trying to change things and like change it up a little bit. And like at first, when I first got done watching it, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't really like that. But then after sitting there thinking about it and rewatching it a couple times, I was like, he's actually trying to take the series in a new direction. And then it got such backlash that with doing the third movie, they're just like, okay, The Force Awakens made this much money. Let's just get J.J. Abrams here. He's going to retcon everything that we thought, the fans thought went wrong with the second movie. And then this is going to be the third movie. And this will make us our money back. And we're just going to throw so much fan service. It's going to be fan service up the ass. And, which it was. And it was not good.
So like the fan service is the dollars.
For as much as I thought there was one throwaway storyline in The Last Jedi, at least you could say that like Rey, Finn, and Kylo were characters that had arcs. And like you don't see that a lot in Star Wars nowadays.
That's very true. You know, I will say, like, you touched on the Skeleton Crew being, you know, a really good recent Star Wars. And it was. I liked it. It was really good. Paul, you should watch that with your kids if you haven't. They will like it. It is just a good series.
Okay.
And then
Jude Law, man.
Jude Law, yeah, really good in that. Really
so
good
mad.
in that.
He's so good.
And then Andor. Andor is incredible. Some of the best Star Wars. You know, it's up there, man. As some of the best
Star Wars for adults.
Yeah, it doesn't have lightsabers, you know, it doesn't have a lot of, you know, Force references or anything. This shows you the ugly side of the Empire and what they were, what was going on that you didn't get to see in the movies. And it's so good. And the way that it ties right into Rogue One, right? So you've got Andor season 1, Andor season 2, and Andor season 2 ends right as Rogue One begins. And it's brilliant and it's amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And Rogue One I thought it was fantastic. I liked it. It was great.
Too.
Perfect mix of like, I thought fan service and introducing new things and stuff.
Yeah.
And no lightsabers, which is the best part.
Right. And the iconic line, I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. I mean, kind of like, you know, this is the way with the Mandalorian, right? Just another classic Star Wars line that is now part of that lore.
Speaking of fan service, one thing I did like in The Mandalorian, I don't think this is giving away any really big spoilers. You guys know about, what is it called? The Jar chess? I think I'm pronouncing that right. This is so cool, I thought. Like in A New Hope, they're playing the Star Wars equivalent of chess while they're traveling, right? And then, you know, everybody remembers that scene where it's like, I've a new strategy, R2, a new strategy, let the Wookiee win, right?
Right.
And they're playing, and those stop motion animations with those creatures on there.
Right.
And then what they did is they created those same creatures are now in like life size in that whole battle scene. And I think they've got a shot from overhead where it's actually got like the checkerboard in the arena.
Yeah, I didn't notice
that. So
they
recreated that. I thought that's kind of cool.
That was fan service. But it was all right. It was all right. It's like, you know, when I saw The Rise of Skywalker, I really liked Babu Frick, right? And I was like, oh man, this guy's kind of cool. He's got a cool voice, you know, and he's voiced by the ghost girl from the fountain in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, and cool, right? I did not need to see 4 or 5 Babu Fricks, you know, riding around in a little cart, yelling at Baby Yoda. I think one of them gets eaten by a dog. To get him back because you can't kill Babu Frick.
I didn't hate that. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny.
It was pretty funny.
Thought, man, I laughed. I mean, you guys got to admit it. You laughed when like Baby Yoda was putting his like gear on. That one scene.
That was great.
That
gave me Gizmo in Gremlins 2 when he was tooling up like Rambo. That was like that scene.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When he's tooling up. Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Let's talk about some of the bad Star Wars stuff. Besides the divisiveness of the sequels, I would say
the Star Wars Holiday Special
Fett was not well received.
Except for that like Mando episode, but it's like, God, man.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen it, Paul, but Book of Boba Fett. I think
I saw the first episode because I was thinking, this has a lot of potential.
Well, it's not great, right? I'm not a big fan of it myself. The episodes with Mandalorian in it were good, obviously, because these are characters that, and storylines I think that are more interesting than what they were trying to tell.
I do have to ask though, what do you think of, so it's like, say you're watching Mandalorian season 2 and then you just jump onto Mandalorian season 3 and you're just like, what the fuck? He's got the baby back? Like, how the fuck did this happen?
Exactly. Yeah. I know. It's really weird how they did that. It was very odd. And then like Obi-Wan wasn't as well received. I don't know that.
I didn't like that either.
Yeah, that didn't go over as well. The Acolyte. Acolyte was not. I didn't like it that much. No.
I did like the Sith mask thing with the teeth kind of thing on it. With the guy with the lightsaber.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah, you see, you guys are my filter. Like, if you guys tell me it's good, I'll watch it. I'm seeing a lot of the.
You know what you got to do, Paul?
Anything a chance, but
you got to suffer through just like we did, because maybe your opinion will be different. Maybe you'll see something that we didn't.
If you're like one of those people that's like, Star Wars is great, you just haven't watched enough of it.
See, that's what I don't want to have happen to me.
You know what else is really good that's new is the Maul Shadow Lord series. It is fantastic.
That sounds
it is so
cool.
good.
Yeah.
It is so good. You guys need to watch that for sure. Great art. I love the look of the show and the story. At least in this first season, the story that they told was amazing. It's really good. I was really surprised at how great it is.
Yeah.
For a character that should have been dead, but isn't because of Star Wars magic.
So 2 characters I really want to see introduced in the live action universe, and no, they're not fucking Dave Filoni characters. Are 2 characters I really want to see. Is I want to see Cal from freaking
Fallen Order and Survivor. Cal Kestis. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see Cal Kestis live action, and I really want to see oh God, what's her name from Outlaws?
Kay Vess.
Yeah, Kay Vess.
Yeah,
Kay Vess
Outlaws
is rad.
was great.
Outlaws was great. You know what one of the best parts was? No lightsabers.
No lightsabers. Yeah.
What is your thing about no lightsabers? Like, I've heard you say that multiple times.
Well, because Star Wars is so cool when it's just like, you think about all these. That's why Skeleton Crew was so cool. Like, go for it.
Yeah, well, they lean onto lightsabers and the Force so much, right? That there's other stories that can be told. There's other things going on in the universe besides Jedi and Sith and what any of those. Like, there's other things going on in the universe.
Yeah,
so why not touch on
so many other
things
to explore than falling back on the old tropes or whatever. But I kind of like something I was thinking in the Mandalorian Grogu was like, there was in the show that kind of like turns Mandalorian's thinking when he's getting attacked by that the creature, and then Grogu like lifts it up and saves him. He's about to die. That I hope. I just spoiled it. People haven't seen the
TV way
show.
To go,
sorry.
Paul. Great.
Yeah, sorry.
Grogu and his selective memory Force usage.
But that was a cool scene, and I thought done well. And in certain instances, the Force is really cool. Like having Grogu, like a small character who's otherwise really weak, have this like hidden superpower that he can pull out at certain times, but like completely exhaust him. That kind of like it makes sense because you can't like use it over and over. It would be it's too OP, I guess. But
well,
like
if you did not watch the Book of Boba Fett, you have no idea how Grogu has those powers because he went to train with Luke.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had to make the choice between lightsaber and a whatever stupid bowl thing he was wearing on his chest.
But I mean, so maybe you guys know more than I do about this, but like I was kind of thinking, what are they going to do with Grogu's Force powers? And like I see what you're saying about the overused tropes and stuff, but like in the battle scene in Mandalorian when Grogu's just in a cage and the Mandalorian's having to fight in the arena, and Grogu's just like incapacitated in the cage, like he doesn't use any of his force. And I thought, he could use the Force or something. None of that happens, right? And I've heard people argued like, it was because the gases kind of knocked him out. But it doesn't seem to have affected Mando's ability to fight in the arena. Like, what's going on?
Well,
but what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Like selective memory, I feel like, with his Force powers, because that's like the thing, right? Like he's like, tapping on Mando's helmet, for the grenades. But it's like, dude, there's a giant fucking open hole in the side of the walker. You could like force throw those things out of there. But like, it's I feel like that's the thing is like he like uses his like powers. But I mean, that's that wouldn't have made the plot that interesting if he didn't get the shot at the last second and then they jet back out of there.
Yeah, like
so it's like I think Grogu knows that like the plot needs this, and it would be really it wouldn't serve the plot if he threw those things out of the side of the building.
If they all just go flying out of the arena and Mando's like looking surprised. Yeah.
He realizes how much the Force is plot armor. So
he realized Grogu's thinking about Disney's bottom line the whole movie.
He's like I can't sell dolls if I'm not tapping him on the head with my cute little fingers.
There's some saying in films where you just suddenly save all the characters at the last second with some impossible thing that flies down or like some cheap like
oh yeah, I forget what they have a term for that. I forget what that
term is called, but I guess they didn't want to do that. Like just and then Grogu's going to use the Force, and then
If you think about it, though, that's like Star Wars in a nutshell. Is there like an impending doom, and then the rebels like fly down and like save them somehow? Except in Rogue One, they all die. But
so something we haven't touched on is the novels. Have you guys read any of the Star Wars novels?
I read the first Star Wars, the ghost-written Star Wars novel, and I think I read Empire and Jedi too. I can't. It's been such a long time, but I know I read A New Hope novelization.
So when Disney bought the franchise from Lucas.
They killed my Star Wars.
They cut it off and they said, okay, everything but the Clone Wars, everything previous is legend. Yeah, it's not canon anymore. It's, and it's still out there and it still exists and we're not going to kill it, but it's not canon anymore. So
here's what we paid $7 billion for. It's this.
Because they wanted more freedom to be able to write the stories that they wanted to write. But so Lucas had no intention of doing the sequels. So he got Timothy Zahn to write the next trilogy.
Heir to the Empire.
Heir to the Empire, yeah, so exactly.
Good. That's with Thrawn, right? I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, so that's where Thrawn, first existed. And unfortunately that got thrown out. But Lee, I don't know if you knew this, but so they brought Timothy Zahn back and he wrote 2 trilogies. So in 2016 or 17, he did, what's it called? I forget what it was called, but it was Thrawn and his association with the Empire and how things that he did in the Empire and how he came up through the ranks and became Grand Admiral and it pretty much ties in directly to Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
So that's called the Imperial Trilogy. So then he wrote another trilogy from 2020, 2022 called the Ascendancy Trilogy. And that one is even more fantastic. And it goes into like Thrawn and his own history of how he came up through the Chiss ascendancy. So his alien species is called the Chiss, and they're way out in the unknown parts of the universe, and how he even gets into the Empire. And it's crazy, and it's so good. Both of those trilogies are really good. So if you're looking for books in the Star Wars universe and you like Timothy Zahn, man, both of those trilogies are amazing. Really, really good writing.
So,
cool. But they're not part of the Disney canon, though?
They are now, because they were done after Disney took over.
Yeah. Okay. But did they bring back, I've read The Truce at Baccarat, which takes place directly after Return of the Jedi. Right. That was a Kathy Tyer's book. And then after that, I read The Courtship of Princess Leia, and that goes into how she was like supposed to marry someone else, but then Han and her hadn't had twins yet, which I guess the Disney canon now, they just have one kid. But so they had the Force sensitive twins, and then after that, I read the Dark Trilogy, which was the Heir to the Empire, and that was the Timothy Zahn trilogy. But in that one, because I know that they like cherry pick what they want from like the Legends stuff, like so they cherry picked Zahn and brought him back and like put him in Rebels, and then made that stuff. But did they make the Heir to the Empire canon again? Because like in that one, it was Luke, Han, and Leia that fought him.
Yeah, no. So in the current, what's currently considered canon, obviously you see Thrawn in Rebels, and now you see Thrawn in the Ahsoka series, right? Yeah. So he is a thing. But the new Timothy Zahn books really go into how all of that came about. And yeah, they wanted to bring Thrawn back because they thought his character was interesting, and he really is.
He's like the best antagonist since the Emperor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so Zahn was like, okay, we can do that. I'll write the books that ties him into the Empire so that you can have him for Rebels and whatever else you're going to do. I'll give you that. He said, but let me do the whole history of Thrawn and write a trilogy on that. And they said, okay, yeah, go for it. And they're both really good. Yeah.
He's going to be it's like one movie I am really excited about is Ryan Gosling's Starfighter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's supposed to be next year, is it?
Next year. Yeah. And that one is going to pick up, which I think is the most interesting because we've been getting a lot of in-between bullshit, but like I'm excited to see where the trilogy leaves off after Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And this one's going to pick up from there and be like a new trilogy. Nice. So I'm really excited about that. And then Thrawn is going to be the villain. So that's what they're setting up, I guess, in Ahsoka season 2. And then Dave Filoni is still going to get his Mandoverse movie, which I think is going to tie up everything.
Oh, really? I didn't even know anything about that. You guys are making me feel like I'm stuck in the 70s. Like you consume some more
Paul, why aren't you watching this stuff? Why aren't you engaging with? And I mean, I'm not like trying to criticize you. I'm like, this is a serious question. So why haven't you? Like, what has been your?
I don't know. I got this thing. Like, I still haven't seen like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, or because I loved. I don't know. I get this feeling like nothing can top the original sometimes. Like, and even like you said, you like Empire better. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's A New Hope is always going to be my favorite movie of all time. So it's like I just have this fear of like, oh, I'm going to watch this thing. It's not going to feel like Star Wars. It's but you're not wrong in that sense, because there is stuff that they put out that just doesn't feel like Star Wars, and it just feels it's awkward, and there's stuff that's not good, but there is stuff that's good. I mean, Lee and I, have told you some of the things that we like, right? And maybe that's a place to start, but there's other things that we didn't that you might like as well. There's plenty for everybody. If anyone is listening is curious about Star Wars, besides the big movies,
And if you don't understand Jedi and lightsabers and all that, watch Andor season 1, season 2, and then watch Rogue One. And then that takes you directly into A New Hope, right? And that's a great way to get into, to understand what people get so excited about with Star Wars stuff,
I like that, which I didn't know that you said that Andor leads right into the beginning of Rogue One, which of course ends off right at the beginning of A New Hope.
A New Hope, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah,
you should definitely watch Andor. Make that your homework, Paul.
Okay.
It's not necessarily for kids, and I'm not saying that because there's like violence or language or gore or whatever. There's not really that. It's just adult
a lot of boring
themes.
Politics in it for kids.
Lots of politics, that I think may go over some younger kids' head. They just wouldn't understand.
I see.
Maybe like Boston's die for the information.
It's like what you said, Lee. It's Star Wars for adults, right? Like it
is. Absolutely is. And there, like I said, there isn't a single lightsaber in the whole 2 seasons. So, really
I know that so this is the one thing I was talking to Paul about also is, so when Disney originally bought Star Wars from George Lucas, they bought it for $7 billion. I personally don't think Star Wars is a $7 billion franchise anymore. That's just me. I don't think somebody would be like, I'll buy that franchise for $7 billion nowadays. But
so, in other words, what you're saying is Disney didn't add value to it, right? Is what you're saying, right?
That's all a matter of opinion, I guess. If you think that value is way more Star Wars, then yes, people got their value.
When you said that's a matter of opinion, it immediately reminded me of, why didn't you tell me he was my father? Well, from a certain point of view. It reminded me of that line. You're like, from a matter of opinion. Yeah.
But I don't know. One of the biggest misses, I think, because I know there's been a lot of dropped projects Star Wars wise, because they're like, oh, well, this one didn't make money, let's cancel these next 3. But one of the movies, because I'm just tired of lightsabers. I really don't want to see them in movies anymore. I'll give some things a break that have lightsabers in them because they were great, but but there's other things that I just want to see other things in Star Wars. So I was really looking forward to Patty Jenkins' X-Wing movie, the Rogue Squadron movie.
It was canceled,
and then it just got completely canceled after we got that teaser trailer with the X-Wing helmet and everything.
He's the same one that did Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah. And it was after,
why did it get canceled,
I believe it was after the Wonder Woman sequel tanked.
The thing is, the Wonder Woman movie was great. I like the first one, but then her writing on the second one, they gave her more freedom, and it seemed like that wasn't a great idea. The second one was definitely not as good.
I think not having a concrete villain in the second one was definitely a huge mistake. Pedro Pascal, he didn't really serve a purpose in that movie at all. I think that bringing back Chris, what's his name, for the point of just bringing him back was really dumb. I don't know.
It seems just we want him in the movie. Let's just bring him back with some weird explanation.
And now I can't stand Gal Gadot, so I don't care that she's Wonder Woman, but yeah, it is. The Snyderverse is a whole other podcast. Of how awful all that was.
Besides the Ryan Gosling flick, what else is there coming from Star Wars? I know that there's a Maul Shadow Lord season 2. They've already greenlit that, so that's coming.
Ahsoka season 2 is coming out next year. 2.
That's true.
That's going to continue the storyline from Mando. That's going to continue the Bo-Katan Kryze, Admiral Thrawn, all that stuff.
Yep.
Because I think he exists in that timeline. I don't know if he exists in the new timeline for Starfighter. I know that the premise of Starfighter is Ryan Gosling escorting a kid to the new Jedi Temple. What they think that, since I don't even know if they started writing the movie yet, I would think that they've been writing it, but the big thing is they also want to do the Rey continuation movie. Like, I don't know if it's a solo Rey movie, or I don't know if she's going to be leading the Jedi Temple in this one.
So I heard they put that on hold, like with everything else. Like that was a project that was greenlit. She signed on for the project, and then they decided to put it on hold. And I don't know if that's because Kathleen Kennedy was going to step aside to let Filoni take over, and they wanted Dave to make his own decisions. I don't know, but it was another canceled Star Wars project.
Yeah,
of which there's been quite a bit.
Do you think it's just less of a focus on the films and more on the Disney Plus side? Is that what's happening?
No, because they want to refocus on the films now because they want to make money. I don't know if that's the direction now after Mandalorian didn't make back like as much as they thought, but I know that that's what they want to do, because the thing is about streaming services is the only way you're really making on money is if you're getting new viewerships. But like Disney Plus, I don't know if they're getting new viewerships. People are jumping on to catch, the new season.
Well, they're raising prices. They're raising prices. And we talked about that in another episode as well. Like it's getting very cost prohibitive to keep all of these streaming services. You got to start to get picky. Yeah. And they've said, like you just said, they are taking a step back from their Disney Plus series, and they're going to try to focus on more theatrical projects.
Yeah.
But if they don't have enough content to keep people coming back for the streaming, well, then they're going to lose money there too. So they got to try to figure out a way to do both and keep people entertained. With good things, not with garbage.
So I think that's what they're counting on, is like Ahsoka season 2, and then I think they're going to do. I remember them saying that there was a Book of Boba Fett movie scheduled, but I don't know if that's the case anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
So I think that they're like the Filoni verse, as I like to call it, with all of his animated characters, live action and everything, and Thrawn. Like he's getting his own movie, but I don't know if it's going to be like the Book of Boba Fett movie with like, because that's his baby too. It's like, I don't know if it's going to be like the culmination of all those storylines and that, or if it's going to be called something else, or like if it's going to be like an Ahsoka movie, because I don't know if people really give a shit about that show either.
Did either of you guys, Paul, I'm going to assume it's a no from you because you haven't watched Clone Wars, but have you seen Bad Batch?
I haven't watched Bad Batch either. So I'm way behind on all the animated stuff. I've seen like a good portion of some of it, but like, and then the Tales of, I've seen those too.
Those are good. I don't know that they've missed much on the animated side besides it was a young Jedi. It was a really young kid focused stuff. I didn't watch that.
Oh yeah. The stuff that's not really canon kind of stuff.
Yeah. But the big series, Clone Wars was fantastic. Rebels was really good. Bad Batch was, excellent. And then the Tales of were really, really good stuff. All good things you should be watching, Paul, for sure.
Okay. How many episodes of Clone Wars are there?
Like 7 seasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of seasons, and there's probably 20-something episodes per season. And it's really, really good. And it fleshes out Anakin's character, and like I said, it introduces Ahsoka. It's just so good, man. You really should watch it. It's excellent Star Wars stuff.
Okay, yeah. See, if you tell me that, I believe it.
Yeah, well, man, I think we've covered a lot of Star Wars today, guys. I'm surprised at how much you're missing, Paul. You've got homework. Yeah. You've got homework, buddy.
I was like, man, I know so much about A New Hope and Empire and
maybe in another year when the Starfighter movie comes out, we'll do another Star Wars episode, and we're going to have your opinions on all of these things that you missed. So you've got some time, but there's a lot of content to take in. You got to make some time, buddy. Do it. It's good. It's good stuff. You would like it.
then this is a good episode for me. I learned a lot.
Learned how much how much of Star Wars geeks Lee and I are, for sure. Yeah. Nice. Well, thanks again, everybody, for listening to us. Again, check out the website, singularityspeaks.com. You can sign up for a free newsletter. Hopefully you'll tune in again for the next episode. So thanks, Lee. Paul, anything else you want to finish up with? Are you good?
I'm good.
Lee?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you again next episode.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.